Michael, I've lost count of how many times I've heard managers say goals change games, but was Ryan Broom's goal on Saturday kind of an ignition of the season, of getting you off the launch pad, if you like?
Well, yes, because it did. Obviously, it sparked us into life, but I thought we were good from minute one on Saturday. First half, moved the ball really well, got into good areas, and it was just that final ball, whether it was a cross or whether the run wasn't quite good enough. So, Broomy's goal was some real good football. We've split them down the middle, then obviously create space out wide to go out wide. Broomy's come inside, and from that moment onwards, you could see the relief, the confidence grow in the players, and just that extra yard, that extra little bit of quality that we were asking for at half time, and it showed because it was 4, but the keepers made several very good saves. They've been blocking things on the line and things, so it was quite comfortable.
Paul Hurst said afterwards that he thought Cheltenham looked much more of a team than his side did. Does that reflect the work that's gone on since you came in last September to get that team unit on its way?
Well, it's nice for him to say that. He said after the game when he came in, and he said, he congratulated us and said we were a much better team. I think it's difficult. He's gone in and they've just been relegated, so there's that sort of hangover. He's had to bring new players in, and it does take time. You can't. It's not that easy just to throw players together, or show them on a screen and go do this. Otherwise, we'd all be doing it. It does take work. In the summer, we were conscious we didn't want to lose. We lost more than what we wanted, but sometimes things are taken out of your hand. But the core of the team stayed the same. So the ideas, so the work that we did in the week, obviously we reverted back to two deep lies and a number 10, but 4 of the front 5 were new. So we worked from Tuesday this week. So normally you sort of Monday, Tuesdays, and then Thursday, Fridays your tactical work going into your Saturday. But we had to start earlier because it was completely new for Tav, Gav Riley, Sheafy, Doyle Hayes. So, and they thought they took it on really well.
You had the 2 young lads, the 2 loanees, in the centre midfield on Saturday. How hard can you push them in terms of playing Saturday, Tuesday, say over the next month? Because the fixture schedule is heavy.
They're young players, they should be able to cope with that. They'll want to play every game. It's up to us whether we think there's the right time to play them or not. But the one thing that they do add is good energy. The distance that they covered, with quality. They're not just running around. There's a tactical understanding within it as well. So which is why we brought them in. We thought they were good players. Now, we say it every year. Not every signing you get right. Sometimes you do make a mistake. Sometimes someone doesn't quite fit as you thought they would. But those 2, along with Clem, I said after the game, post-match, I said I thought the midfield 3 were excellent, and they were. Now there'll be different challenges along the way, but they handled the conditions well. There was a couple of big lads in there. Songo in there. There's not many bigger than him, and they coped with the physicality of him and got in and around down the sides of him as well. So, along with Greavesy, Tavon's still young. So there's lots of energy and enthusiasm in the team. So going forward to the Saturday, Tuesday, I think young players just get on with it. They don't overthink it. I think it's when you get a little bit older, you're thinking, God, they keep coming. I'm not sure, but the young players, they could play every day if they wanted to, probably.
And it's a question of managing it. If you think you have to take them out for one game, then that's your call on what you see, isn't it?
Yeah, they're young players, so they're going to have ups and downs. So it was both for their home debuts, so I'm sure and they both came through it really well. But like Jacob last year, Jacob had peaks and troughs, and sometimes he came out of the team, and then sometimes we left him in because we thought, no, he's going to come again here. So that's as the staff, we need to get the right decisions right. But ultimately, if they keep performing like that, they'll stay in the team.
Bristol Rovers only had 2 games as you have. Have you watched both of them?
Yeah. Obviously, they got beat at Blackpool last week, and I've only watched about an hour of the game on Saturday, which was a 0-0. It was a real 0-0 as well. So we need to focus on what we're doing. They're a league above us. We're away from home, so there's 2 factors that it's going to be difficult. But we do need to improve the away form, whether it's a cup game or whether it's a team not in our league. We need to deliver better performances away from home. So we'll be focused on ourselves more than that.
Yeah, Graham Coughlin, I think, has said that Johnson Clark-Harris will have some element to play in the game. Have you seen much of him?
Yeah, I just played against him when he was at Rotherham, so done really well when he went in there last year. I think he was probably the catalyst that kept them up, with his goals, his physicality, his movement. He's a good player, and obviously came on on Saturday, so we are expecting to see him at some point, whether it's from the start or not, and I think he's a big part of what they do.
Has Gavin helped you at all? Obviously he can't play for you in this game, in terms of insights into any of the other squad players?
I've not even seen Gav yet this morning, so obviously we're not talking about it last week because the focus was Saturday, so I'm sure we will have a little chat and ask a couple of things of what he thinks he knows. He might not want to tell us, it's still his parent club. But yeah, we'll use, but we have enough information between the analysts and the staff, the scouts and things, so we'll know, we'll have an idea of how we think they're going to play and what we need to do to try and stop them and impose ourselves on that.
Yeah, Cheltenham have done quite well out of second round draws in this competition. 2 games against West Ham, 1 game against Newcastle. It is quite a carrot, isn't it, to potentially get a side that isn't involved in European competition from the Premier League?
Well, it's win the game first, so there's no point, we could have drawn Man United if you've lost the game. So it's the focus will be winning the game, and then hopefully you get a little bit of luck off the back of it and you get one of the big ones. Because obviously a club of our stature, cup runs are always important. So that's the key. We will be basically just trying to win the game.
You'd have already played against Graham. Talk about playing against Clark Harris. You'd have already played against Graham Coughlin too, I guess, in his playing days when he was at Plymouth. How is he setting that Rovers team up? Because the information that to come out is that he started at the back, and you'd expect that because he was a defender.
Yeah, I actually played with him. He had 6 months at Burnley as well. I think he came from Plymouth to, but I think he only played a couple of games. So, but he was an old-fashioned head it, kick it, muck and nettle centre half. I think he'd tell you that. He wasn't Rio Ferdinand, and he got the best out of his ability. So generally, as a defender, you normally want to stop the goals going in. You build the foundations. So he'd done really well to keep him up in the league last year. Obviously, they've had a slightly difficult start. It's 2 games. It's 10, 12 games. You need to get an idea of where you're at. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that there's the work that they kept a clean sheet on Saturday after getting beat away from home on the first weekend of the season.
And just lastly, in terms of your own injury position, obviously Chris had 45 minutes on Saturday. Ben, you said was unwell but got through it. Do you expect those two to be in and around the squad for Tuesday night?
Again, it's early Monday morning, so I don't think Chris will be fit. Toes, I've not spoke to Gav or anything, so we'll make a decision on that. I think it was just a bit of a bug that Toes had, so it was nothing too serious. But with Huss, he did have to come off. So I'll speak to Gav later and find out what sort of timescale that he'll be with. We don't think he's pulled or he's torn anything, which is the key.
Just last on that one then, has Josh improved a lot, do you think, from his time at Dover? Has that sort of knocked a few edges off him or developed him a bit?
You can only get better from playing. You go away and you spend most of his early years playing academy football, and then you go into the conference and you get knocked around a little bit. The game's different, the ball's in the air more. You've got to learn the other side of the game. And to be fair to him, he's come in this pre-season, worked hard, wants to go and do his one-on-ones with Huss. So he's working on that, he's working on his heading. We all know he can run, we all know he can cross it. So he came on Saturday, I think in the first 10 minutes he put 5 good balls in the box. So we're just trying to add to his game, because we think there is, the core fundamentals are there. He's 6'2", he can run like the wind and he can cross it. It's not a bad start for a wingback.